Meeting of the Everett City Council will come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Counsel Delasola.
Here.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Here.
Counsel Hanlon.
Here.
Counsel Mangan. Whoops. Counsel Marchese. Counsel McKinnon.
Here.
Counsel Napolitano.
Here.
Counsel Sachetta.
Here.
Counsel Sani.
Here.
Counsel Simonelli.
Present.
Counsel Capone.
Here.
10 members present, Mr. President.
10 members present. You have a quorum. Please rise and salute the flag. I have one communication from Councilor Mike Marchese. He is going to be about a half an hour late for tonight's meeting. Clerk will read the first order of business.
Item number 1, Mr. President, is a resolution sponsored by Counsel Capone as present to conduct a 10-minute public participation period during this formal session.
Make a motion to open public hearing?
It's been moved and second open public participation. Everyone in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. So moved. We have open public participation. Do we have a list? I don't have a list. Has anyone signed in for public participation? No, it's not signed. Okay, no, okay. Okay. It's been moved and seconded to close participation. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. You have closed that portion of the meeting. Clerk will resort to the regular order of business.
Mr. Chairman, I have a sign-in sheet. If we could please suspend the rules and take items number 21.
Is there a second? Moved and second to suspend the rules, take item number 21. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You have moved. Clerk will read item number 21.
Item number 21 is a resolution sponsored by Counsel Fred Capone that a representative from the city's refuse collection contractor pit the next city council meeting to discuss a remedy to the haphazard placement of refuse containers following collection.
Councilman Capone,
There's a sign-in sheet for Scott Martinelli.
could someone make a motion?
So make a motion to have Scott Martinelli come up, please.
Motion made and seconded to
Seconded.
have Mr. Martinelli come up before us, please. Could you please state your name? Have a seat. Just your name and title, Mr. Martinelli.
Scott Martinelli, Supervisor, Capital Waste Services.
Thank you. Mr. Capone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, Scott. How are you tonight? Thank you very much for being up here. I just want to bring a couple of issues to your attention. For the most part, the crews are doing a great job. I know it's a big city. I know it's a long day when you're hitting all the stops. I took a couple of pictures. This is just indications of stuff that's happened in front of my residence. And it's just indicative of the kinds of things that we're looking at. The first picture you see, the barrels are lined up, there's snow. This is from last year. It's been a long-standing issue that we've had, the concerns we had, barrels blocking a crosswalk. Then the second page, you'll see the recycling bins blocking sidewalks. More of the same on the third page. And then the fourth one, this is the most recent one. This just happened this past week, where there was a pile of paper and whatever that came out of one of the bins. It was in the middle of an intersection on a crosswalk. The concern is that when the barrels are, and believe me, I appreciate that every second on the route, it doesn't sound like much when you say it, but collectively, every extra second that these guys are taking at every spot, I understand it lengthens the day tremendously. And I know that it puts them at a disadvantage as far as time frame. But the concern is that when the barrels are put on the sidewalk in such a way that a pedestrian has to either move it in order to walk by, or in occasions where I've seen where the barrel's actually in the driveway, when a car's trying to pull in, they can't pull into their driveway because the barrel's there. So they have to get out of their car and move it. On a side street, that's not a big deal. But on a busy street, that could be a very dangerous situation. I actually observed that on School Street, which is a really heavily traveled street. Someone had to get out of their vehicle. It almost was a rear-end collision because people aren't used to people stopping so quickly. So those are the kinds of things we're asking to do. Our residents are required to put them in a certain position, line them up in a certain way, make sure that the lids aren't flipped open, And we're just asking that a little bit more care be placed when they're actually being put back in the position, because it does cause some issues for us, and the biggest being public safety. The only other thing that I would add to that is when we have inclement weather like today, either snow or rain, if it's possible just to kind of close the lid, because over the course of a day, if someone's at work, by the time they come home, they could have that much water in the barrel. Now you've got to dump it out. We end up dumping it out in the street with trash and everything else, and it causes an issue. But it's not on every single route. It's not an occasion that occurs every single week, but from time to time it has come up, and it's something that we really do need to look at as a city for the safety of our citizens. I appreciate anything you can do to take care of that.
Okay. In response to some of these here, there should be no reason whatsoever why these should be blocking the crosswalk. I'll keep a close eye on that and speak to my men about that. Sometimes the barrels do get a little cluttered as they're put back because they're trying to empty them as quickly as possible, especially on a main street like this when you're holding up traffic.
Sure.
A sole barrel like that may also blow, especially when it's empty. As far as the shredded paper, when we empty that, that actually should be in a bag. It shouldn't be
Okay.
loose. So
Okay.
it's actually the customer that actually dumping shredded paper in there. So of course, when it's empty,
It's going to blow around.
they blow out of
Yeah.
there, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I do supervise the 12 people that work over there for us on a constant basis. At one time, the barrels being placed in the street was an issue, which hopefully we've corrected that. A barrel blocking someone's driveway, I will address that. It is something that we, try to avoid, and again, it's just a matter of time sometimes. But other than that, we work as hard and fast as we possibly can. We take 50 to 70 tons of trash recycling off the street every day.
12 folks are doing the whole city.
12 guys do the whole town, and that.
It's
that
tough.
few
It's
amount of
hard
time.
work. It's hard work.
You
There's a
know?
lot of receptacles.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate what they're doing, and I do understand that every second at each house adds up to
Now-
quite a bit of time at the end of the
Now, as
day.
far as the lids being open,
Mhm.
that's actually what we do, so we actually know if that route or street's been
Been covered.
completed.
Okay,
Okay, so we don't have trucks going down, repeating streets.
okay,
And me as a supervisor, knowing that that area is done. So if I have a truck needing to go help another vehicle, bunch of workers out, I know where they have to go. And leaving the lids open lets me know
Okay.
that that street's been done.
okay. That makes
you know?
sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how we do it. I work hand in hand with ISD every day, City Hall, and our capital office. I handle every call personally. We try to do the best that we can here, and if anytime there's an issue, I handle it every day as best as I can. I will certainly address the crosswalk barrels and try and have them put them on the sidewalk a little bit neater than some of these pictures show, and try to keep them out of people's driveways, because I know that I've had to correct that myself a couple times, having someone stop, get out of their vehicle, move it so they can get into their driveway. But we work hard and try and resolve those situations.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I have no other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Refer this item back to sponsor, please. Yeah, thanks.
Number 24 off the agenda.
Could we take item 23 first? Could you suspend the rules and take item number 23? Aye.
Item number 23 is a resolution sponsored by Councilors Fred Capone and Peter A. Napolitano that the Commonwealth ban heavy trucking on that portion of Second Street between Route 16 and Broadway is unnecessarily disrupts the neighborhood and negatively impacts public safety.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Capone.
Thank you. Through you to our clerk, the last time this was up here, we weren't sure, I know that it's, the no heavy trucking, I think, is a matter of state issue. So I didn't know if we were able to do that directly. We had to start a traffic commission, or if it had to go to the state. I think our clerk has clarified that it starts with our traffic commission. So with this, the issues here are public safety, expense to the city, and nuisance to the general neighborhood on Second Street going from Route 16 to Broadway. So I would like to refer this item to the traffic commission.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to traffic. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it. You have done so.
Could we please suspend the rules and take items number 24, please?
Clerk, read item number 24, please.
Item number 24 is an order sponsored by Council Fred Capone is present to fill the vacancy that our newly state Representative Joseph McGonigal left at Council at Large in accordance with Article 2, Section 2-11 of the Everett City Charter. Furthermore, Mr. President, I, Michael Matarazzo, the City Clerk of the City of Everett, do hereby certify that a vacancy exists in the position of City Councilor at Large as of January 2nd, 2015, and that Michael J. Mangan of 104 Walnut Street is the duly qualified candidate under Article 2, Section 2-11, and stands to be appointed by this honorable body.
Chair will accept the motion to open nominations.
It's, The motion would be to, the motion in order would be to appoint Michael J. Mangan as city councilor.
Matters before the council.
Motion to appoint Michael J. Mangan as a city councilor. City council at
Appoint.
large to fill the vacancy.
Is there a second on that? Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Del Sola.
Michael Magan.
It's just a yes or no.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon.
Yes.
Councilor Marchese. Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor Napolitano.
Yes.
Councilor Sachetta.
Yes.
Councilor Sani.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
Councilor Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
10 yeas, 0 nays. You have filled the vacancy with Michael Mangan. Council Mangan, why don't you come up and get sworn in?
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Michael J. Mangan,
I, Michael J. Mangan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as a member of the Everett City Council,
as a member of Everett City Council,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my
and
abilities
understanding,
and understanding,
agreeably to the rules,
agreeably to the rules,
regulations,
regulations,
laws,
laws,
ordinances, and charter
ordinances, and charter
of the City of Everett.
of the City of Everett.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
to the Commonwealth of
and will
Massachusetts
support the Constitution
and will support the Constitution
and laws of the Commonwealth.
and laws of the Commonwealth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and
to
allegiance
the United States of America
to the United States of America
and will support the Constitution of the United States.
and will support the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You sign?
Congratulations, Council.
Two of them. One more.
Congratulations, Council. Welcome back to city service.
Thank
And if you have some family or friends in the audience you'd like to say a few words, feel free to take a few moments.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking the councilors here for welcoming me back. I really, really appreciate it, and I look forward to getting back to work and doing the business of the city and really moving the city forward in a positive direction. So again, I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I just want to thank my wife and children, Caleb and Brendan. My daughter Jessica couldn't be here. She had to go back to school, but I love you very much, and thank you for all your support. I also want to thank Senator DiDomenico and his family, newly rep Joseph McGonigal, Mayor Carlo Di Maria. Thank you for all your support. Also, just a couple quick thank yous, John Burley, Caroline McCory, Dave Rodriguez. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. All my friends and down in the corner there, and my friends from Everett United, and Dan and Mike and Tony and Roger and Mr. Tawzi, as I see coming in, and I see Brian down the back there. Thank you all for showing up here today. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, I really look forward to doing the business here and moving this city forward in a positive direction. So thank you very much.
From the chair, I would like to welcome Senator DiDomenico and Rep. Joe McGonigal to our chamber. Thank you for being here tonight, gentlemen. Counsel, did you want to take a quick picture? Counsel, did you want to take a quick picture of the family, or do you want to do it after? Okay, all right. All right, clerk will revert back to the regular order of business. I believe it's item number 2.
Item number 2 is a
Suspend the rule
petition.
and take item 14, I'm sorry. I have a sign-in sheet.
Item number 14 is an order sponsored by Council Frank Capone as president, petition for a lodging house license, room rental from Joseph Festulo, trustee for J&T Realty Trust, DBA Joseph's Lodge, at 312 to 314 Broadway.
Counsel McKinnon?
Is all the paperwork in order?
All paperwork is in order.
Has the amount of calls decreased?
Amount of calls have decreased.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and second to accept the petition on item number 14. Clerk, call the roll.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Yes. Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Mangan.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
10 yeas, 0 nays, you have allowed the petition. Clerk will revert back to item number 2.
Item number 2 is an order sponsored by Counsel Frank Capone as president to petition the general court to establish a linkage fee revolving fund.
President Capone, I'm a little confused on this. I thought we had already done this.
Has this been before us?
This has
Okay.
not been before us before.
So,
Under the rules, it needs to be either referred to committee or referred to the next meeting.
okay, so,
If the president decides that it is not routine.
Yeah. The chair would consider this not to be a routine matter.
so I'll make a
I'll
motion
leave
to
it the
refer it
vote.
to the next meeting.
Second.
Moved and second to move this to the next meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Well, unfortunately, we're in the middle of the vote. So, the ayes have it. It's been referred to the next meeting. Clerk will read item number 3.
Item number 3 is an order sponsored by Counsel Frank Capone as president to accept a donation of $12,500 from the Everett Foundation for Aged Persons Incorporated to support the Office of Human Services Elder Services Program.
Accept the donation and a letter of thanks.
It's been moved and second to accept the donation with a letter of thanks. Clerk will call the roll.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Yes. Counsel Hanlon. Yes. Counsel Mangan.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
10 yeas, 0 nays. You have accepted donation. A letter of thanks will go out. Clerk will read the next item of business, item number 4.
Item number 4 is an order sponsored by Counsel Frank Capone as president to accept donations totaling $2,480 to support the Office of Human Services Christmas and Emergency Services Program as follows. Everett Emblem Club, $20. Rachel DeShino, $10. Gianna D'Angelo, $250. Benjamin Sire, $20. And Schnitzer, New England, $2,000.
Accept the donation and a letter of thanks. Favorable action.
Moved and second to accept the donations with a letter of thanks going out to the individual donors. Clerk will call the roll.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Yes. Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Mangan.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani. Counsel Simonelli. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
10 yeas, 0 nays. You have accepted donations. Letter of thanks will go out to the individual members. Clerk will read the next item of business, item number 5.
Item number 5 is an ordinance sponsored by Counsel Frank Capone as president to amend the revised ordinances of the City of Everett, Chapter 18, Section 149C, citywide resident sticker regulations by deleting there shall be no fee for resident parking stickers issued during the 30-day distribution period. The fee for a resident sticker issued after the initial distribution period shall be $10, and replace that language with there shall be no fee for the resident parking stickers.
Moved and second, favorable action. Well, actually,
Yeah. This is an ordinance, and it's an ordinance change.
yeah, I'm not so sure that it is routine, but the chair will defer to the membership if they feel that it is. Counsel Sechetta.
Yeah, on the
No ordinance can be voted on the first time it comes before.
Okay.
Some motions refer to the
Is
next
it
meeting.
next meeting, or?
What's the committee, it's up to them.
It's up to the membership. Would you prefer committee or next meeting? Next meeting?
I think next meeting is fine.
Okay.
It's pretty gut.
Okay. Moved and second, refer to the next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. You've referred it to the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had a question on it. Is there no fee at all after February? Is this what
That's what it looks like.
In other words, anytime you take out a residential fee, if you live here, there's no fee whatsoever?
Correct.
Very good, thank you.
Clerk will read item number 6.
Chairman?
I'm sorry.
What's that? Yeah.
It's referred to the next meeting. It's actually not before us at this point. That's my fault, Sal. I apologize.
Mr. Chairman,
Counsel Hanlon.
I'd like to make a motion that we take items 6 through 12 collectively, providing that all the papers are in order and there are no objections. And also at the same time, I'd like to take items 15 through 18 collectively, with the understanding that all the papers are in order from our city clerk and that there are no objections from anyone.
The only item I think is new is item number 7. So the rest of them would be, I think,
Okay.
fine. But I think 7, it's new, so,
With the exception of item 7, Mr. Chairman.
okay. Let me make sure I have them correct. We have 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, and 18? Okay, we're going to take them collectively. They're going to read them individually. We'll vote on them collectively. Favorable action on each. Clerk will read each piece.
Item number 6 is a petition for a redemption center license from Thompson New Gwyn, DBA Dan's Redemption Center, 107 Hancock Street. Item number 8, second-class motor dealer from Donnie Conj, DBA Auto Gallery, 1993 Riviera Beach Parkway. Number 9 is a petition for second-class motor dealer license renewal from Mohammed El Majid, DBA Ferry Street Auto and Sale, 464 Ferry. Number 10 is a petition for a first-class motor dealer license from Frank Figueredo, DBA Boston Freightliner, 3 Bow Street. Item number 11, second-class motor dealer license from Anthony Figueredo, DBA Vigor Diesel Injection, 3 Bow Street. Number 12 is a petition, second-class motor dealer license, Anthony Figueredo, DBA Vigor Diesel Injections, 50 Mystic Street. Number 13, second-class motor dealer license, Kenny Kalala, KC Auto Sales, 312 Main Street. 15, the second-class motor dealer license from Giuseppe Giuliano, DBA Pepe's Autos, 2529 Bow Street. 16, lodging house license from Thomas Ryan for Pope John 23rd High School, 888 Broadway. Item number 17 is petition second-class motor dealer license from Joseph P. Marchese, DBA Supreme Cars, 163 Ferry. Number 18 is a second-class motor dealer license from Davio Incorporated, DBA Christopher's Auto Service at 367 3rd Street.
Order, Mr.
Everything's
Clerk,
in
with
order.
all these
They're all
petitions?
renewals.
Okay, favorable action. then.
Second.
Moved and second, favorable action on the items just read by our clerk. Clerk will call the roll.
Counsel Del Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Mangan.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
10 yeas, 0 nays. You've allowed the petitions. Clerk will read it. Go back to the regular order of business. Item number 7.
Item number 7 is a petition for a second-class motor dealer license of Christopher Di Lorenzo, DBA 380 Auto Find at 382nd Street.
What's the
Is
pleasure?
everything in, is paperwork in order?
Yeah, it's a new license. All paperwork's in order.
It's a new license?
Yes.
It's a new license. So it's the pleasure of the council.
Does it have to go in front of the license committee?
That-
I would
It's-
make a
it's up to the- it's up
recommendation
to the board.
to send in front of the license committee, not to hold anything up, but we'd
Sure.
like to know who these people are, what they're doing, and what their plans are, so I make a
It's-
motion to send it to the license committee.
Second.
Moved and second to send to Ways and Means. All those in favor? Opposed? You have
It's
so moved.
Community and Business Development.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. We're both wrong. All right, clerk will read the next item of business, item number 19.
Item number 19, resolution sponsored by Council John Leo McKinnon, Committee on Government Operations, Public Safety, Public Service Report. That someone from Mayor's Office appear next meeting to explain New Jersey barriers on Yonge Street. Further, Mayor's Office request for response on recommendations.
Can
Councilman
we have the
Kinnon.
chief of staff before us, please?
You'd have Melissa Rodriguez before us?
Good evening, Melissa Rodriguez, Mayor DeMaria's Chief of Staff. How are you?
Good, thank you for being here tonight. Council McKinnon.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to our chief of staff. There was a number of requests that we had out of committee. Which ones were handled and which ones weren't?
So there was a couple of things you asked for. One was the cost of putting the bullets in. And I gave you the cost of both putting the bullets in and removing them. It was $104, approximately $105. It looked like we had about 2 employees, both with an hourly rate in the 20s. One I think was 22, one was 29, and it took them less than an hour. So I just rounded it up to an hour, basically. When put them in and to take them out. And then the other update I think you asked for was what we ended up doing, which was the city went in on the date of the end of the trial period, the end of the 90 days, and we removed the bullets from the street. Since then, it appears that they've put in their own additional bullets, but we took ours out, so those are on ours.
So the cities is out and the residents of the street put new ones in? Okay. And did they go through any type of, our zoning board or anything like that to actually put those in?
I don't think that off the top of my head, can't think of any zoning ordinances that would require them to do that. But no, I believe that they put those in. The police and fire department have both been down there and taken a look at them to make sure that they're not a public safety hazard. They're in the exact same place that ours were in before. I know that there's been several conversations between Sergeant Bova, Jerry Navarra, and Sergeant Rosa with the neighbors regarding the issue. It sounds like they're looking to put in a more permanent solution than those as the weather gets nicer, but I didn't get any indication from my secondhand knowledge of their conversations that there's any plan to remove those.
So they're gonna just keep those temporary ones up and the picket, it's like a picket type fence kind of
like
structure?
Horses, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
there
better
was a
than-
horse there before,
Yeah.
now it's like
Some type of,
some kind
yeah.
of thing there. Kind of unsightly to the city, actually, I would think.
Yeah.
But now, I asked the city solicitor if there was any mass general laws that were prohibiting them from doing that, blocking the street until they went through our proper zoning or anything like that.
Right.
And was there any that you
I
found?
think she's here. Colleen's here. She's shaking her head no. I don't think there is. I mean, the thing we have to remember, and I know it can be very frustrating, is that it's almost like it's your own driveway. So it would be like me saying to you, you can't put a chain across your driveway if people are backing into it kind of thing. As long as it's deemed that police and fire can access the street, which they both have deemed that they can.
They would have to access it from Coolidge Street,
From
correct?
Coolidge Street, right, but
They
they're.
couldn't access it from
No.
Ashton as they were before,
No, they would
Okay.
have to access it from Coolidge Street. They are aware of that.
and they're fine with that?
And neither one of them, right, they both went down and reviewed the site. We haven't had a major snow event yet, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, but I guess we'll see. I imagine what they'll have to do is like at any dead end, push to the end, and then be careful not to damage on any of the structures.
Actually, one of the good councilmen that I know handed me a piece of paper and did some research on it. It's called Adverse Possession Law in Massachusetts.
Yep.
Anything that is used over 21 days, actually 21 years.
21 years, yeah.
That would be considered deemed accessible to the
So-
public.
This was a conversation that we had before, which was, it's not really to the public. You had to fill, and Colleen probably be more attuned to giving.
Could we
Would
have the
the-
city solicitor before us, please?
Right.
A
So
second
there
on
was a series of things
Do
you
you have
had
a
to cover, remember?
Could I have a second on that?
Yeah,
Anyone?
second?
Second.
We can move the second and
Right.
invite Colleen here to the
And this was
podium.
the
Thank
same thing
you.
that we talked about before, about when we talked about the easement by necessity or a prescriptive easement, and adverse possession is very close to those things, and it has to be continuous, open, hostile, actual, and it has to be solo. It has to be one person who's doing that, not a community. I've never heard of a city having adverse possession over anything.
I mean, from what I'm gathering in front of, I do my research on things. Some of the people there have been there for 60 years, and they've owned their property for 60 years, and they've always had access to that road, so.
Right, so I think like we told them from the beginning, if they think that they have a civil lawsuit, they should bring that civil lawsuit to court with their own attorneys. The city can't get involved in a civil lawsuit.
Exactly. I mean, there's no winners here, it's like a one-way street. Some people want it, some people don't, so.
Or a dead end or whatever, yeah.
I mean, but now, so we're not responsible for anything that happens to that street, correct?
It's private property.
It's private property?
Talk about responsibility.
The city council had had adopted a state law a few years back that allows the city to maintain, plow, collect trash, things like that from private ways. So, yeah, we are responsible for maintaining the street. Plus, we have probably utility easements underneath that we'd be responsible for maintaining.
So the utilities would also be taken care of from the city?
We own the utilities under the street, so
Okay.
we have an easement
So we do
we have a
have-
utility easement.
So we do have an easement? to
We have
that
an
street.
easement to maintain water and sewer lines, yes,
Okay.
like we do.
What
in
about
every.
gas, electric, and all that stuff? That would be handled by the private owner?
That would be National Grid. It wouldn't
Okay.
be Everett. We own the water and the sewer.
Okay. So anything that would happen on that street, we would take care of. But these people do not have to follow, like, the certain zoning laws that we have put in place, it seems.
If
I
they
know, I know
have,
that I have a piece of property in the city of Everett. For me to put on, in addition to my back porch, I had to go through Mr. DeSisto's zoning board.
right, they have to do the same thing.
Well, they didn't.
This
They
fence
just
is-
put
No.
up a brand-new set of barriers, and that was it.
Right, but it's not on their lot. It's a way, so they can
They
put
don't
the
have to
city
go
on
before
notice.
the abutters, they don't have
But
to
what,
go
there's
by
no
the
zoning
zoning?
violation.
There's no zoning violation for
No.
that?
Block, to making it a dead end? No.
Well, they just put up their own pieces of structure,
Right,
and it is not appealing to the people that is abutting this.
right,
We
but
have
that
the
doesn't make it a
zoning
zoning violation.
Okay. That's what the
It might
city
be- I mean-
suggests. I mean, I'm just questioning it, reason being is because I know that me as a city councilor, I have to go before them, I have to go get a permit, I have to do, everything by the book. So I want to make sure that everybody's doing everything by the book here. Because there is another group of people on Ashton Street and another group of people on Coolidge Street that feel that this is unfair. And I feel, for all of them as well as Yarmouth Street. So, I mean, I'm trying to get the best solution that we could possibly do here for all the people in the residency, because I've never, ever had a problem out of any of those streets down there. And now all of a sudden, there's police actions, there's fighting going on, there's, disruption of Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, I'm getting calls. So, what do we do to actually get this done? How do we make it simple for these people to live and exist, coexist together? That's what I want to know.
I think it's a civil issue that exists there that they need to work out between the neighbors. And we told them we told them at that meeting that if they want us to facilitate some type of community meeting.
There was
where
12
we would try to mediate.
Excuse me, there was 12 items that we had printed out. One was to have a sign put up at the top of the street. I talked to Sergeant Bova, that
Yep,
was done.
That was done,
Okay,
correct, yeah.
that was awesome, thank
There
you
was
very
also
much.
some- the do not parking signs
The
you're talking
removal of
Yeah.
the barriers, that was also done.
Yeah.
And then there was new barriers put up by whomever, I don't even know, we don't know.
The residents of that street put them up.
Okay.
So you have to think about it, if you want to put a 4-foot fence on your property, right, that's not covered by zoning. If you want to put an 8-foot fence on your property, it's covered by zoning. So then you would come up and you would get your variance. We can't control things that aren't covered by zoning.
So basically, these people can just keep this barrier there and that's it, we're all set.
Unless it's deemed to be a public safety hazard, but both police and fire have reviewed it and they have not deemed it to be a public safety hazard.
Okay.
And also, they may have to comply with Department of Transportation regulations when it comes to a roadway. So the Jersey barriers may be a great temporary solution for them, but there may be some regulations that they may have to comply with in terms of a more permanent structure
Yeah, I
to
mean,
make it a
it's-
dead end.
it's- If you look at it, if you go by and actually research it, I've been there, you go by it, it's 2 water barriers, basically, that are the Jersey barriers, and then it's like picket fence in between, and then it has mistletoe or something hanging from it, so I guess they tried to dress it up, I don't know,
I
but,
think we all hope that there's gonna be, I think we all collectively hope that there's gonna be a permanent solution, that they're gonna bring something to the engineers and lay some type of sidewalk or some type of permanent solution, beyond what these are. I think we all hope that.
I know the people, that they don't even wanna come up here to speak anymore, because they wanted to speak one night and they couldn't, so now they don't even wanna come up anymore from the other adjacent streets. They said they've had enough, that's it. They're looking into legal action, I know that, and, that'll be there. I guess we'll have to go that route, but in your opinion now, this barrier does not have to pass the zoning, it does not have to pass the abutters, it doesn't have to be paid for, it doesn't have to have a permit, it doesn't have to have anything, correct?
I
So-
seen that, Colleen can tell me she's something different, but I don't see anything in zoning or in our local ordinances that govern this barrier that they put up on private property.
Well, I can double check with the engineering department to see if there's any sort of permit, but as far as we knew from before, there weren't any permits that were required. I know we reached out to an outside law firm that has.
Was it in the city? Because I know the same gentleman on Ashton Street reached out to
No.
a law firm that was in the city, and they
No.
had a different perspective on the matter.
No. I'm looking at it from the city's perspective. I don't look at it from the residents' perspective.
Oh, no,
That's not my job.
that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so from the city's perspective, because that's who I represent,
Mm-hmm.
we reached out to a law firm whose expertise, they have different municipal expertise, and this happens to be one of them, private ways. And, excuse me, I had asked if there was any sort of regulation from the Department of Transportation or anything that would
That was part of the
require.
recommendation that we requested from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so we're kind of going back and forth to see, if there is something specific that the city can require them to do in terms of a permanent structure.
Okay.
So-
And do they have to be registered? All the houses?
I don't know what that
Is
means.
part of that? Like, is there a registry on these houses that are on a private way or something to that effect?
Well, their deeds would be either recorded in land court or the registry of deeds, just like any other property.
It would be
so.
recorded as a private way?
No, it's just not accepted as a public way. The city never accepted the way as a public way, so it's considered a private way, and that's probably on file in the engineering office.
Okay. Thank you very much for, doing everything that we asked, and I think we got some things accomplished. We're trying to middle it here to see if we can make some people happy. And I think that Yarmouth Street is happy because they now have their barrier up again, but the other two streets they're unhappy. So we'll see what we can do, and I'll hand them this law, and then they can research it further. So we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Council Delasola.
Just two questions. On this, I know we're responsible. We're responsible on the snow plowing for that street, correct?
Yeah, I believe from the statute that you accepted, I think things like that are now the responsibility of the city.
We just notify the city workers who have that area.
Mhm.
We don't want to be, after the winter, be paying for any damage to
Mhm.
the structure that's down there.
Right.
The other question was, if they do decide to do a sidewalk, curbing, and talked about a few weeks ago, would they have to come to us for approval on how they're gonna do it? I know they don't need it for the barrier. If they have to come down and do sidewalk and all that, they have to be sure that would be approved by the city?
I think the engineering department would require some sort of permit for that. That's something that they would definitely know. Where it's a permanent structure, I think that they would probably have to get some sort of permit, because they don't want to impede on any of the city's easements underneath for utilities and things like that. Yeah.
And one more thing, did
Council Hanlon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yarmouth Street has been made a one-way, and it was done by the city. If that's a private way, my question is, did we have the authority to make that a one-way street?
If the residents requested it to, yeah, if they request it, then it would be up to them to make it the one-way. So,
Okay. good.
yeah, I don't know that there's necessarily a
that's
need
good,
for a
that's good.
vote. Yeah.
My question is that it's a one-way from Coolidge Street to Ashton Street. Once the residents get in there, how do they get out?
Well, now they changed it to a dead end, so it's no longer a one-way. It's their property.
Who takes away the ordinance that said it was a one-way?
I don't know that I don't know that the city has the authority to vote the street a one-way or dead end or a two-way if it's a private way. I don't know that we have the authority to do that.
Seems
So
like
if
they
it
got
was
their
done,
cake and they're gonna eat it too. So
if it was done by the city, it may have been done in error, because I don't think that we have the authority to do that.
And I think your definition of one person on prescriptive easement is wrong, because I know a party that 12 parents of school children won a case because their children took a shortcut to school for years, all different people, and they won. So I don't think by saying one person is the right thing. I think that was wrong, so, and I'll find that
It's
case.
actually adverse possession that I was referring to, not,
Pardon?
it's a different thing. Adverse possession and prescriptive easement are two different things. So I was referring to adverse possession, I think you're referring to a prescriptive easement, which means that they had, I think we're referring to.
I think I meant to say, did I say prescriptive
You
easement?
said prescriptive easement, yes.
That's what I meant to say, yeah. All right, thank you.
Counsel Sani.
Thank you. Since the city took over
We need to fix that.
I called them.
I'm not gonna make it through the year if we don't
No,
fix
I
that.
called them at the beginning of the meeting, so hopefully someone will come up.
All right, thank you.
I haven't heard back yet, but hopefully someone will.
We would accept it as a public way upon their request, but we actually can't, because there are certain regulations that require a certain width for a street to be a public way, and that doesn't meet those requirements, so we couldn't accept it, even if they requested us to accept it as a public way at this point.
If they widened it.
Yeah, unless they widened it.
We can. Sure, we can reach out to the neighbors, but it's kind of the same thing as if, we push snow up onto your fence, right, onto your regular fence. It's they're gonna, I mean, what will happen is they'll still file a claim, just like happens if we push snow onto your fence on a regular street, because it's your private property that we're damaging. But we can certainly reach out to them and have a similar conversation, about that. I'm not sure if it's bolted to the ground or not, and I went there, I couldn't tell. I don't think so.
Counsel McKinnon.
Just a quick question. You had sent me a correspondent, and it was for the 104.98. Who's responsible for that?
I mean, I think that we felt like the city was gonna pay for it because we agreed to do the 90-day period between the mayor's office and the police department, and the legal department agreed we would do a temporary period for them. I hadn't planned on sending them a bill. If it's the wish of the council to send them a bill and you wanna do it in the form of a motion, I'd be happy to take that back to the mayor.
I mean, we're not gonna nickel and dime them on Yarmouth Street either. It's just that I wish that we had known, I wish that I personally had known that, because I'm the councilman on the ward as well. So, and when someone calls you, they wanna know what's going on with this barrier being up, and then you have no answer, you have to call them back and say, I'll get the answer for you. You know what I mean? So, if, in the intimate period of time, if we do this again, in anywhere else in the city, I'd like to actually have something in writing to us, so that we can actually know what's being done in the
I
city.
can't envision we'll be doing this again after all this.
Yeah.
But if we do, I will call you myself and let you know.
I'll be honest with you, I've been called at least 42 times on this matter. And I think that we have to do something to appease both sides. I know that legal action is probably gonna be one of them. They're going that way, and we'll be ready. We're gonna have to be ready for that. So, whether it's prescriptive or whether it's, I have it right here, adverse possession on law. So, either way, we're gonna have to take care of it, so. Right now, I mean, I'm gonna refer this back to sponsor, and with hopes that they actually do, if they need to, take legal action so that they can get some type of relief down there. Because I know that there was all kinds of incidents going on over the holidays, and it did not have to be that way. And I've never, ever had any incidents down that end myself, so I'd refer it back to sponsor.
Are there any other questions? The chair will entertain this.
Excuse the customary thanks.
Second? Moved and second, excuse the customary thanks. Thank you very much. On the
Thank you.
piece? It's moved and second to refer back to sponsor. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman.
There is a communication from
thank
His
you.
Honor the Mayor. I was remiss. It does affect the general public with the indulgence of the council. I'll ask our clerk to read that, if that's all right.
From His Honor the Mayor, Carlo Di Maria Jr., dear honorable members, I'm writing to inform you of an exciting new development in wellness and recreation in the city of Everett. As of February 2015, the Recreation Center and Energize Everett will both be relocated to the old high school as part of a comprehensive new Everett Community Fitness Center. The new Everett Community Fitness Center will have long hours and expanded staff and a wide range of programming and activities for all age groups and interests. In addition to the recreation space and programming, a large component of the new facility will include nutrition classes. Members of the Everett Community Fitness Center will have access to a certified nutritionist and personalized meal plans. The City of Everett has a serious obesity issue in its schools, as well as numerous health issues amongst adults that are often caused by obesity. The opening of this new center will, with its expanded programming and staff and its focus on wellness as a whole, will make a true impact on the health of our residents. As we all know, the Recreation Center is in dire need of renovations. The space isn't big enough for the amount of programming the city needs, and the facilities are outdated. This new space has updated facilities, updated technology, and increased and modernized equipment. Recreation Center will continue to serve the community as an available rental space and for some isolated programming. The cost to attend the Everett Community Fitness Center will be $15 a month for the whole family. This cost includes all classes and programming, including meeting with a nutritionist or trainer. Teenagers and children that want to use open gym will be welcomed free of charge. Neighbors of the fitness center were invited to a meeting last month to share their concerns and hear about new plans. I hope you share my enthusiasm for the Everett Community Fitness Center and for getting our residents active and healthy. Sincerely, Carlo Di Maria Jr.
Thank you, councilors.
Just a communication.
It's just a communication, but.
The Recreation Center will continue to serve the community as an available rental space and for some isolated programming.
I already put it in the form of a motion for next meeting, so we'll talk about it then.
Here you go. All right, no rest for the weary, Mr. Clerk. We're going to revert back to item number 20.
Item, where are we now?
I think it's 20.
20, item number 20, resolution sponsored by Council Rosa DeFlorio. The administration consider looking into parking meters so that people can pay with ATM cards similar to what other cities and towns have installed.
Councilor
Mr.
Florio.
Chairman, could we please have Melissa Murphy up? Richard Biscay is not available.
Okay. Miss Melissa, if you would, please come forward. Thank you. Councilor DeFlorio?
Melissa, in regards to these meters, I have a price here where it says single meters are $555 per meter, and multi-space meters are $13,000 per machine. Now, how many spaces does the multi-space meter?
The multi-space meter is something that you would see, and the best description I think I can think of is if you go into maybe like the Back Bay or into a parking lot, and you see one multi-space meter that services either an entire parking lot or services an entire street block. So you might put one multi-space meter out in front of City Hall, and it would service maybe all of the 10 spots in front of City Hall, plus the spots on the corners. And you would walk to that multi-space meter. There's a couple of different ways that they do it. So you can either, some cities and communities, some of the systems, you walk to the multi-space meter, you put the number of your parking space in, so your parking space is actually numbered. You put the number of the space in, and then you enter your money. Other communities, what you do is you go, and this is what they have in Boston, you go to the multi-space meter, you put your money in, it gives you a little sticker that you go back and you put in your car. So it gives you 2 hours on the sticker. So there's 2 different ways that you can achieve that. I think these would work best on our, in the square area where you have a lot of parking spots in one area, and then like the Corey Street parking lot, the parking lot behind the Cooperative Bank, those types of spots.
Now, these machines obviously would be something that you could pay with your credit card, right?
You can pay with your credit card,
Okay.
both machines.
Okay, so is this something that you think is gonna be feasible in the future, or, I mean, I know this costs money, and I certainly,
I think-
we have enough money in, could we use the parking money that's in the parking account?
There's money in the parking account. I discussed it with the mayor, and he seems to think that it's a great idea too. So the thought would be that we'd build it into the capital improvement plan, which is due to this body on March 1st, with some different funding mechanisms. Parking receipts would be one option. Another option could be free cash bond or even operating budget. If you're only talking about 2 or 3 of them, you're not gonna probably bond $36,000. But you may go to parking receipts or go from even your operating budget. So the plan was to figure out where these would be best placed with the traffic commission, and then incorporate them into the capital improvement plan.
Okay, thank you.
Counsel Sachetta.
Yes,
Counsel
I'm
Rosa. Thank you.
I'm looking at this price and what it is. I've seen these meters at locations in large cities like Boston, Cambridge, and Somerville, where you have a number of people that park all day long, and they need to use their credit card. Also at beaches, they have these meters where people park, and they spend $15 for parking. But in the city of Everett, as small as we are, the average person parks for an hour or two for a quarter. And if we have a person use a credit card for 25 cents, it's gonna cost the city money to collect that money from a credit card company. So I'm definitely against this, and it's a good idea, but the city of Everett is not the city to do it in. Thank you.
Counsel Hanlon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Lister, just,
The machine that's out there is actually collecting, if people don't want to get out of their car, they can just pay their bills right. You can pull right up to it and put your check right in it with your bill. No, it's not for parking, yep, it's just to convenience for residents, yeah.
Counsel Napolitano.
Thank you. Now, I just want to get a better idea how the operations works. I've actually had some dealings with with credit card devices where I work with the banks. Now, when they swipe their card on these meters, how does the meter communicate the card note for the approval? It's all done wirelessly or cellular?
It's all done through cellular. I just saw one of these in the Gloucester City Hall parking lot. They had it in their City Hall parking lot. And I asked when I went in, and they said it's wirelessly. They do it wirelessly. And the way that so there's 2 different ways to do it, and we discussed this I think the first meeting. One, they can build the operating fee right into the cost of parking. So there's like a 3% increase on your cost of parking. Or 2, the city kind of eats it, the operating cost, and it comes out of the amount of the quarter for 15 minutes. But yes, it's all done electronically, and it's an immediate withdrawal. It's not like one of those things where the month later you see the withdrawal. It's an immediate withdrawal.
Mm-hmm. And what's to prevent, or what type of safeguards are to prevent, because there's a lot of different, it's not scams, but there are a lot of different things out there where you're able to actually sit and pick up these frequencies. It's big business, credit card fraud, to be able to pick up this information. What type of safeguards are built into these to prevent that, and what's the liability to the city if in the event that this information gets out?
Sure. I don't know the answer about the safeguards. I can easily ask the different, we'd have to bid this, so what they would have to do is obviously we have to bid it because it's a lot of money. So when they came in, they would do a presentation basically about what safeguards they have built in. Liability-wise, I would say we'd be covered under our insurance policy, as we are for all of our liabilities. But they would have to come in with a proposal, and as part of the proposal would be the safeguards that are built into their systems. We recently sat down with a proposal of people who actually are doing the same thing, but not through these multi-space meters, but through their cell phone. So it's actually a pay for your, Boston's using it now, and it's a pay for your parking app. And you come in and you just do it all right on your phone. Less convenient for older people. But one thing that they did point out when they came in was that the city, since they put these new meters in or through the new technology, they're actually making more money, because before what would happen is somebody would come in, they wouldn't know how long they were going to be in a spot, they'd feed their meter and for 2 hours, and then maybe their meeting would be done in an hour, or they'd be done with lunch in an hour and they'd leave. Now what happens is you pull into the spot and you say, oh, I have an hour, I'm not going to feed the meter. That no longer happens. Now what's happening is you're pulling in the spot, it's resetting. So you have to go back to the machine, and nobody's kind of stealing that hour anymore.
But the surplus doesn't go back to the original purchaser,
No surplus
right?
goes back.
Goes
So it's
back
like
to the
they're
city's
making
pocket.
double money off of some of these parking spots sometimes now. So.
Right, I'm on the fence on this only because I have concerns about the fact that I know that with credit card transactions, there's a certain percentage, and in some cases a flat fee involved as well. I know in use of debit cards, it's a flat fee, and again, I'm a little behind because I've been way out of the banking world for a few years, but based on what I remember from those dates, I don't see how this would be cost effective. So I'm very interested in hearing more information.
I can pull those numbers together, I'd be happy to do that.
All
I'm
right,
sure
thank
more
you.
will come to light as we do the bid process, but I can at least try to get some estimates.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the city make money, not make money for the banks.
Agreed.
Counsel McKinnon.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to our Chief of Staff. In your opinion, do you feel that this is going to help or hurt the business district?
I think it helps. I have to be honest, sometimes I don't have change, I won't stop. And maybe I'm a young person who only uses the debit card for everything, but I think there's a lot of people like that now that only use the debit card for everything. So I think it's more of a helpful tool. And you can put cash in them. It's not like you have to pay with a card. So if anything, I think it gives businesses more options.
All right. Thank you very much.
Counsel Sani.
Thank you. Do we know how much each meter takes in individually that we have in the city now?
I don't think so. We run a daily tally of all the meters, but it doesn't tally. The meters we have don't tally that way. So they empty them and then they bring it back and then we run the reports that way. But I don't see any way that we'd be able to. I mean, could we go out and empty one meter and come back and count the money and see? Yes, we could do that technically.
I think if we do decide to do something with these meters, I think if we take an area and then see how much the area brings in, and this way we know if it's cost effective in the long run, you know, what we're taking in and what people are using it on a
Sure.
daily basis.
So for instance, I could ask the meter collector to collect Corey Street, bring it back and have it, the Corey Street parking lot, bring it back and have it counted.
Right,
And we
and-
could get an estimate of what that brings in, for instance, on a weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday,
Right.
to give you an estimate of what
A weekly- even a weekly-
Or Monday through Friday, just the
Right.
Corey Street area.
Right.
And give you an estimate of what that looks like.
Yeah, that'd be something if
Okay.
we, you know, decide down the road and we can see what the costs coming in and what we're taking in, if it's worth it in the long run.
Okay.
I know we'll probably generate a little bit more money in the long run, because sometimes, like you say, people don't have loose change, they just keep going or whatever, but
Hope for the
this way
best.
we'll have an idea.
Right.
Counsel Simonelli.
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. I agree with Councilor Sachetta. It's been this way for as long as it's been there. We have to pay for these meters. It's another expense that's gonna cost the taxpayer. And to get, plus the maintenance you gotta work at, you know. I guess I'm old school, but it seems like it's been working the way it is. And most of the people are gonna be elderly, maybe, that's gonna try to use this thing, and they're gonna probably never not gonna know how to use it, like me. But I just sort of think this is going overboard a little bit too much, and the price per meter and multimeter is expensive. Then you're gonna have to hire a guy to fix these when they break down. So I agree with Sachetta. We don't need this. Thank you.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's one thing we have to realize on this board, that we don't make decisions just for today. You have a casino coming in, well, I do have one quick question, Melissa. Obviously, we want all the information that everybody has requested, but we can do trial periods just in certain areas. We don't have to do the whole city at once, and I understand that. I understand everybody's concern, I understand everybody in regards to the cost. But study has shown, because I spoke to Richard Viscay, I've done enough research, study have shown that once you come with these meters, you end up making more money. Because people that don't have change take a chance. They go in the store for 15, 20 minutes, don't put the change in. Or like Melissa said, if the meter has an hour, I've gone to a meter where the meter has an hour and I don't have to put any money in there. Now, once that car moves, this machines are put in place, once that car moves, that meter goes back to zero. So the city gains an hour. So the penny you're paying on the credit card to take that credit card in, which is a credit card world anyways, regardless. People pay their bills with credit cards. They're gonna pay their taxes with credit cards. They pay their water bills with credit cards. So unfortunately, that's what the future brings. So what I would like to know is, I'm gonna leave this, is 1 month enough time for you to come back with all that information?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm gonna grab some specs from some other communities, so you guys can take a look at them and see if and then we can, we'll sit down with a couple of different organizations and see what they have for suggestions, and we'll pull the Corey Street parking lot.
Okay.
Before then.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for Melissa, but I do have a comment.
Okay. Any other questions?
Excuse with the customary thanks.
Thank you. Council DeFlorio, you have the floor.
So, Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, sometimes we have to make decisions, not just for today, we do have to make decisions for tomorrow. There is a casino coming in, maybe there's gonna be a different clientele coming in. Unfortunately, the young kids today, a mother has 5 boys, they don't even go out with a dime in their pocket. Everything is ATM today. So we have to face reality. And decisions aren't just made, we don't make decisions just for today. We do have to make decisions for the future. And if this is the way the future's gonna go, maybe it is time that we do a little bit at a time instead of doing it all at once. Put a few meters at a time so we don't go through a great expense all at once. So I'm not trying to spend extra money on the taxpayers or frugal money. I am looking for the future, though. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What's your pleasure on the piece?
Motion to lay it on the table for 1 month, give the Chief of Staff a month to come back with the information. Thank you.
You got a second meeting in February? Would that work?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
You could do this, right, the second meeting in February.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, we can always grant further time. It's not a problem.
Do we have a second on that? Second. Moving second to postpone this till the second meeting in February. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? You have referred this to the second meeting in February. Clerk will read the next item of business. I believe it is item 22.
Item number 22 is an order sponsored by Councilor Michael K. Marquez, City Council, City of Everett, accepts Chapter 53, Section 9A of the Massachusetts General Laws. If I may,
What's the
Mr.
pleasure?
President, Council, a copy was sent to each member. What it does is it sets a deadline for the taking out of nomination papers 2 days prior to the last day to turn them in to the registrar voters.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Hamlin.
On the motion. I know you heard me say this before, is I really don't like accepting Massachusetts general laws, carte blanche, because we don't know what's gonna happen to that law tomorrow, or next year, or 2 years from now. I have a question to Michael. Michael, how will this affect the way that we handle our nomination papers? Can't we just do the same thing? You can set a date, can't you, of when the things come in and go out?
No, if you don't accept this law, then you can take them out the day they're due. And as you know from being
Right,
clerk,
right.
those are the folks who get in trouble. Those are the people who try to get 250 signatures in a day. They don't do a very good job at it, and that it's best to have a date where we can take them out. And that this is a state law that if a city or town accepts it, the last day to take them out is 2 days prior. So all you're really doing is 1 day where it basically just prevents people from taking them out the same day that they're due. That's all it does,
Okay.
really.
Thank you. Favorable action, Mr. Chairman.
Moved in second, favorable action. Clerk call the roll.
Counsel Delasola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Yes. Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Mangan.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon. Yes. Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli. Yes. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays. Mr.
10
President.
yeas, 0 nays. You have accepted the statute. Clerk will read the next item of business, item number 25.
Item number 25, order sponsored by Councilor Fred Capone as president. The rules of the city council hereby amended in Rule 37 by replacing wherever it appears the phrase 5 members with the phrase 4 members.
Second.
It's, go ahead.
Counsel Hanlon.
It's a change of the rules.
Mr.
Can't be
Chairman, I have
voted on this evening.
a small problem with this, is that we're losing it down to 4 members, which I said I agreed with you, you know. But I'm now concerned with the 2-2 vote. And maybe through you to Michael. Michael, do we still have that the president is ex officio on all committees?
Yes, but I don't believe he's a voting member of any.
Is that in our charter, or is that in our rules?
That's in our rules.
Can we change the rules so that he's a
Yes.
voting member?
So it's probably better off.
Mr.
being
Chairman,
I've
can we lay this over?
Yeah, I've just been notified
Can't
that,
discuss it.
because it's a new
Discuss it.
piece, we can't discuss this. Yeah,
Next meeting.
Oh, okay.
but,
Will be referred to the next meeting, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
moving second, refer our next meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Will be
Motion to
adjourned?
adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have adjourned.